Hello, everybody. Hello. Que paso? So we got a lot going on here, don't we? What's the markets doing so far in the first day of this banana public we're in? Make sure y'all can hear me. Looks like the 10-year treasury is down to 2.75 again. Dow's up a little bit, Nasdaq's down. Looks like nothing much going on. All right, so I got some stuff I want to share because I'm intrigued by what's happening here. So you can't have 1 second. You can't have a president of the United States being investigated by the political opponents and call yourself an American democracy. It just is just nuts, and it should be shocking after what they got away with Eric Holder. And it shouldn't be shocking about after what they got away with the Russian crap, and it shouldn't be shocking after what they got away with the 2020. But here we are, and I wonder. It's just not. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper because I want to wait for some more people to come on board here. Hold on a second. It doesn't make sense though that the FBI stormtroopers would bust into Trump's house while he's away, 4 months before midterms. It just, from a political thing, it's stupid. It's dumb. And why would they? And I'm just trying to think, why would they do that? It's not, I don't think it's what it is. So I want to see let's go over to Conservative Treehouse, because I want to see what Sundance, and Sundance over at Conservative Treehouse is the primary guy on anything that comes to do with Republican politics. No one else knows more about politics than this guy. I'm just telling you right now. I still think it's the People's Pundit, Richard Barris over there. I'm not sure that'd be true, but I think Barris lives in North Carolina, and I think Sundance lives in Florida. But anyway, so let's see what he says. Here's Harmeet Dillon, reminds everyone, if you still have respect for the DOJ and FBI at this point, particularly the FBI, you're not paying attention. Well, I get that. As a citizen of Florida, Ron DeSantis calls FBI Mar-a-Lago raid another escalation. I get that. I like to see that. We got another impeachment. The only one who's beat the impeachment was this guy right here. She'll go down, and I'm hoping this guy goes down too. That's good. Dan Bongino over at Rumble. This is some third world crap. Yep. Joe Biden says dozens of agents to raid home of President Trump. Remember, and this is on top of after having not Jussie Smollett thing. Who's the freaking Bubba Wallace? Remember, they sent the FBI agents down there to look at a rope that they say literally, like 12. A dozen or something like that, FBI agents down there to see there's a noose hanging from a NASCAR. I don't know what it was. It's freaking stupid. So something's happening. It doesn't make sense that they're going to. And the only thing I could possibly think, there are two things I'm possibly thinking. One is that they're trying to escalate the reaction of us so they can lock down more. All right. That's my first, but that's too obvious to me. But let's go down this a little bit. And then I'd like to hear what you guys are thinking. They're trying to get a reaction from, the MAGA people, a violent reaction, so they can literally go January 6th on us even more. I get that. And I can read this real quick. Let me go over to, because I thought, I get that. I just don't, let me go 1 second, insurrection. Hold on, Jess. I want to bring up this other article here. I don't think they're that dumb. I just, that doesn't make, I get it, but I just, hold on just a second. I want to show you this because I absolutely agree with, 1 sec. So we got a Trump, all right. Right here. All right. This I tend to agree with what my man William Jacobson over at Legal Insurrection is saying, that this is a provocation. they're trying to get a reaction that allow further crackdown. I agree with that to some sense. I actually think it's there's something even more than that, actually, which I'll share with you here in just a second. If New York Times reporting is right, and they never err on the side of being soft on Trump, then this raid was over documents that the National Archives think Trump should not have. This is not something the FBI raids major political candidates over ever. Never mind Hillary Rodham Clinton. Obama did the same thing. I'm going to talk about another case that's literally nuts. This is a provocation. They're trying to get a reaction that allows a further crackdown. See January 6th. It's also a provocation to get Trump to declare his presidency, his candidacy for presidency before the midterms. Dems would love to turn 2022 in a referendum on Trump. I would love to have that. I'd love to have a referendum on Trump, 100%, because people say, I want Trump back instead of I did that, Joe Sniffy Biden. Would the FBI and DOJ do such a thing? Aren't they above politics? Or if you still think that, you're a fool. All the more reasons to keep your head about you. Don't take the bait. Being stupid isn't tough. It's just stupid. All right. Then he said, I flipped back and forth between CNN and MSNBC, and at least when I watched, they were not engaging in celebrations. There's a palpable dread that could backfire against the Democrats bigly. And then, when I log into my email here, I get the typical Bing news source, and they're like the political ramifications, because it's all left-wing crap. The first thing was the political ramifications of the raid of Trump. I'm like, it's just weird. So I actually think is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get a reaction, a provocation, so they can. I personally, what I think is probably happening is they're hoping they get some crazy white guy, go crazy, and that way they can get the black vote out. 100%. The Democrats need black vote. They're not getting it the way they need, and they're trying to rile up enough whites. A long time ago, I had written probably 200 pages on a story along these same lines, probably 25 years ago, a book. I never finished it, and maybe one day I'll do it again. But it's along the same lines. The best way to create racial conduct is to rile up one base. That way, they go after another base. They go back and forth, just like the video I did earlier today on reparations. Anyway, the point being is, I think at the end of the day, they're trying to get people riled up so they do something stupid. But they don't even need. But here's the thing: they don't need to do that. The FBI is notorious for false flags. So why would they need to? So false flag. Look, if you can look at anything, the FBI is in on it. And I find it interesting too, by the way, that there's a lot of controversy about who actually killed Martin Luther King Jr. You might not have been following that, but there's a lot of people who think he was taken out by government sources. Let's put it that way, with another agent who turned to be prominent, as the black racial grievance industry, which I will not name, but was prominent, involved in that, if that makes sense. Bill Buckley, CIA operative. Let's just put it this way. There's a guy who's very prominent in the 80s and 90s, even ran for a pretty big office, who was right there when Martin Luther King Jr. got killed, and lots of controversy on whether or not he was in on it as a CIA operative or not. Anyway, the point being is they can create their own false flag. So, but I think what could be, they're doing this raid to set up the fake false flag of a provocation. They're going to have some crazy lunatic guy that they're going to say, a Ray Epps type, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, Ray Epps, who will lead some guy who's down on his luck to go do some evil things. And that way they can say, see, not only will it get the black turnout for the midterms, but it'll also lock down more on us as well. I can see that a mile away, man. But I don't think anyone's going to believe it. I just don't. And this is too obvious. So what's the other thing they're doing? And the only other a couple of things I can think of is that they're just trying to make it so anyone who challenges the status quo, a la Trump. Remember what David Axelrod said. I think it was David Axelrod. We have to beat Trump so badly, none of his kind ever rise again. You see what I'm saying? I imagine Lindsey Graham is even out there saying, this is wrong. And everyone's going to say, yeah, Lindsey, you're back on our side. Yay. The Republicans are just as bad as the Democrats at being clapping seals. Yay, Lindsey Graham. Yay, Nikki Haley. You're on our side again. Yay. As they attack the FBI, but they don't do anything. I just think what it is that they're either a provocation to lead a false flag, or they're trying to show no Trumper better rise again. And as such, if you do this, is the fate that waits you. And Trump even said, he goes, look, you think if they can do this to me, how bad would it be when they come after you? And we've seen that with many a case of January 6th protesters and whatnot. It's insane. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of examples like this. It's bad stuff. But the craziest thing to me is I don't trust the Pentagon as far as I could kick them. I don't trust the CIA as far as I could kick them. I don't trust the FBI as far as I could kick them. I don't trust any of those guys anymore. The DEA, the NHS. I still trust Border Patrol. But that doesn't mean if you're just a common run-of-the-mill agent for the FBI, I don't trust you. I just don't trust your leadership. It's kind of like the unions, man. A lot of union workers are freaking fantastic, but their leadership sucks. Kind of like the Republican Party. A lot of Republicans are fantastic, but their leadership sucks. A lot of Christians are fantastic, but their leadership sucks. It goes on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust the FBI's leadership as far as I kick them. If you're an FBI agent out there, a DOJ, working for the DOJ, hell, I don't trust NASA as far as I could kick it. But if you work for NASA, it doesn't mean I have any animosity towards you at all. Not the least. Not in the least, man. I worked for USAA when they were losing trust in the members, for sure. And they said, man, USA has just gone wrong, Josh. I know. But that you don't put that on me. I just hear, you know what I'm saying, here for the paycheck. So don't be all angry. And this is one of the things, just real quick, I'm yapping. Don't be an idiot to government workers. One of the things I just pet peeve of mine, just as an FYI, a huge amount of federal employees are freaking right wingers. I'm just telling you right now. Don't be an ass and say these guys don't do that. So this is what I think. It's kind of like the 9/11 thing. Tons of righteous Muslims out there, but man, was it easy to get people to hate Muslims for no reason at all. Buddy, hold on a second. I think my wife is getting ready to go for. All right, cool. Yeah, they're getting ready to do it. So Pablo can run around, run, freedom, Pablo, freedom. There we go. And it was stupid to say, oh, Muslims are bad because, and I still challenge the idea of 19 Cessna flyers with box cutters. But anyway, be that as it may. The idea is that all of a sudden we're going to blame the FBI, run-of-the-mill FBI agent, the run-of-the-mill DOJ person, the run-of-the-mill federal government employee. Don't do that, stupid. The leadership is horrible, horrible. It's like blaming blaming the German soldier who got freaking drafted to fight on behalf of Hitler. He's just some dude, man. He's like, if I don't fight, I'm going to get killed and my family's going to get raped and murdered by the freaking Nazis. Can't do that. Don't be stupid. So I think this is a case of provocation they're hoping to be so they can crack down more, or of a warning, don't ever be a Trumpster again. And we're going to let you know now. So if you do win in 2022, we got our eyes on you. I just think it's a huge error either way, because I don't think anyone's going to believe it. If a provocation happens, I don't think anyone's going to believe anything they say. That's good. We shouldn't believe the government. You shouldn't believe any of them. You shouldn't believe the CIA. You shouldn't believe NASA. You shouldn't believe the DOD. You shouldn't believe the EIA, the EPA. You shouldn't believe any of them. It's all corrupt, dude. From the point to A to point. You shouldn't believe any of the freaking colleges, nothing. But anyway, I want to share with you something here, because this is what was of interest to me. And if you all remember Sandy Berger. Sandy Berger. Man, I forgot what Rush used to call him, but I want to read about old Sandy Berger. He was National Security Advisor to Clinton, was Sandy Berger. Okay. In 2005, he was fined and sentenced to 2 years of probation plus community service for unauthorized removal of classified material from the National Archives. He gave up his license to practice law. Oh, no. He was born to a Jewish family where his parents ran an Army-Navy store. He graduated in 1963. He went to Cornell, where he earned his JD from Harvard. He was member of the Quill and Dagger Society, where he met Paul Wolfowitz and Stephen Hadley. Stephen Hadley was in the news recently, too. We'll come back to him. Opposed the Vietnam War because he didn't want to get drafted. And look, I get it. 100%. These guys were right. The people who were pro-Vietnam War were wrong, because America has no desire to actually win a war. We just want to go spend money, kill a bunch of other people, and make the military-industrial complex richer and richer and richer. Berger began working for McGovern, and he met Clinton. We formed a relationship that lasts decades. He gained experience working a variety of government posts, including special assistant to Mayor John Lindsay, and legislative assistant to Harold Hughes, and Congressman Joseph Resnick. Now, that was interesting because I had just read a little about Joseph Resnick not that long ago. I say, what? This is interesting. I said, okay, we're going to come back to Resnick here in just a second. It's very interesting. So he worked, basically as an intern, as an aide in D.C. All right. Oh, he also worked for Cyrus Vance under the State Department. Interesting. See how this all, the Kissinger, Cyrus Vance, all one big clown show. After leaving the State Department, he went on to join a law firm where he expanded the firm's international law practice. All right. He opened the firm's first two international offices in London and Brussels. Nancy Pelosi said of him he was a point man for a trade office for the Chinese government. Interesting. So nothing odd about this guy. All right. So let's just take a look down here. I just want to kind of show you something here because controversies. He paid $23,000 civil penalty to settle conflict of interest of a stock he was told to sell in 1994. He just forgot to sell it. Chinese nuclear espionage. And don't forget about Dianne Feinstein's limo driver, Nancy Pelosi's son, and never mind Hunter Biden. Don't forget about any of these people. Paul Manafort, what's the guy's name from Manafort, who's a partner there? Podesta, Tony Podesta. No. None of these guys are going to get the ire. Maybe Manafort a little bit because he's on the Republican side, but none of these guys are going to get the ire of the DOJ or the FBI. Berger was criticized for failing to promptly inform Clinton for his knowledge that China had managed to acquire the designs of a number of nuclear warheads. He failed to tell the president of the United States for whom he worked that China had managed to acquire the designs of nuclear warheads. Now, whether or not nuclear warheads are believable anymore, I don't know. I just, at this stage, I'm not worried about dying in nuclear war. I'm just not. I think it's the bludgeon that get us to be fearful. Oh my goodness, Iran's gonna get a nuclear bomb. Oh my goodness, they're gonna get it. We've been hearing that for freaking decades. Berger was originally briefed by the espionage in April '96, but he didn't tell his boss until July of '97. A number of Republicans called for his resignation. They accused him of ignoring Chinese espionage. But don't forget, Berger was, let's see here, right here with old Nancy Drinking Pelosi, that he was a point man for the trade office of the Chinese government in 1997. And he just happened to forget to inform Clinton, his boss, that Chinese has stolen trade secrets. All right. If he should be relieved of his duties by President Clinton, and Clinton, of course, rejected the calls. All right. So here's the big one: unauthorized removal and destruction of classified material. Remember Sandy Berger? I forgot what did Rush used to call him. Does anyone, if you put in the things, I'm not looking at right now the comments, but it's funny. It was funny as hell. On July 19th, 2004, it was revealed by the U.S. DOJ, that Berger was investigated for unauthorized removal of classified documents in 2003 from the National Archives, prior to testifying before the 9/11 Commission. The documents were 5 classified copies of a single report from Richard Clarke covering internal assessments of Clinton administration's handling of the unsuccessful 2000 millennial attack plots. Now, if you believe that, there's only 5 classified copies. I got a bridge in Brooklyn to tell you. An associate said that Berger took 1 copy in 2003 September and 4 in October 2003, allegedly by stuffing the documents into his socks and his pants. He subsequently lied to investigators when questioned about the removal of the documents. Didn't go to jail. General Flynn went to jail. Well, they went after Roger Stone. Didn't go to jail. This is when we still trusted these clowns, by the way. Now, that was the beginning. I'll never forget. I said, why is Sandy Berger getting off the hook? It's crazy. I'll never forget that. I trusted these freaking guys. I trusted George W. Bush. I trusted these assholes, pardon my French. And because people like you and me trust these people, many people died. It's because of us, because we trust these scumbags. I'm pissed, dude. You should be too. Not pissed to be like, oh, we got to do something, man. There's nothing to do. Nothing to do except hang tight, let it flake out, and freaking just remember, when our guy wins again, there better be some freaking ball crunch. I'll tell you that right now. They better be going up there to crush balls because this is freaking nuts. And the only way we can do is get Trump back in there. It's one other way. It's the only other way, man. Now, I think the Democrats might be overplaying their hand. They think there's an animosity towards Trump. I don't think it exists like they think. I mean, there's animosity towards Trump on their side. I don't think their side's very big. Don't forget, their side has jumped the shark with all the 57 flavors. I really, really believe that. I really believe that. Look, they got these two gay guys who were arrested for child thing, all that. I think that's silly to say. Oh my goodness, gay guys. I don't like that because there's always scumbags in every group of people. However, something like that plus the 57 flavors only is going to lead to more animosity to that side of the equation, which will reflect itself if the votes actually count in politics going to the right. Who knows? I'm not sure the votes will actually count the way they're supposed to. If you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink, wink. But I mean, we're still, you can see the more and more hostility towards 57 flavors and all that stuff. And as such, you can see that people are being less frightened to voice these concerns, if that makes sense, and more willing to be openly, this is wrong. This is wrong. You guys are scumbags, and you're leading us down a moral depravity that we can't come back from. So we're going to stop this now. And Lindsey Graham, Nikki Haley, Kristi Noem, all you fools better be on account. You guys are scumbags too, because you just went along for the ride. You didn't do crap. Tim Scott, you didn't do crap. You just sat around and say, all these guys, man. All these guys didn't do crap. And if you think the MAGA people who are a majority of the Republican Party are going to fall for that, you're freaking nuts, dudes. This right here is went over the top. The DOJ crap is over the top, and there's no negotiating with your enemies. You cannot do it. You cannot negotiate with terrorists. This is why the evolutionists, my friends, you can't negotiate with your enemies. You just laugh. You don't get mad. You laugh. You say, okay, when my time's up, we'll remember. We'll remember. You know what I'm saying? We'll hold grudges. We'll hold grudges because our time will come up. And when it does, we're going to hold grudges. It doesn't mean you go freaking nuts. You just say, no, you're removed from polite society. You're now banned from your ability to do this. This is how you have to play the game, man. We didn't ask for this. They demanded it from us. We just want to be left alone, but they're not leaving us alone. So let's read here. Cindy Berger pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor of unauthorized removal and retention of classified material from the National Archives. He was fined $50,000, sentenced to 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service, and stripped of his security license for 3 years. 3 years. The Justice Department initially said Berger only stole copies of classified docs, but not the originals. But the House Government Reform Committee later revealed that an unsupervised Berger had been given access to classified files of original, uncopied, and uninventoried documents on terrorism. During the House, this chick was the director of the presidential documents at the National Archives, acknowledged she had granted Berger access to the original materials in her office. Inspector General Paul Brackfield reported that Berger took a break to go outside with an escort. In total, during his visit, he removed 4 documents. On May 7th, 2007, he relinquished his license to practice law, saying, I've decided to voluntarily relinquish my license. All right, so the guy's he's a freaking scumbag. I mean, literally, if we had traitors, he would be considered a traitor. 100%. All right, so then after leaving Clinton, he became chairman of the Stonebridge International advisory firm he co-founded. They had expansion of markets, Brazil, China, India. You think these people give 2 craps about America? Hell no. They're globalists. He was they merged with a similar firm with Battle and Albright. He's also chairman of some other global advisory firm, International Investment Fund and merchant capital provider with offices throughout North America, Europe, and Asia. A partnership for a secure America. He served as foreign policy advisor to Hillary Clinton in 2008. Freaking scumbag. The Japanese government gave him an award. All right, so anyway, the point being is he never went to jail. He didn't do anything. He didn't have a raid of his house, nothing. Anyway, I want to go back and I want to show you about this guy, Resnick, because this is pretty interesting because I was just reading it. I said, what? That name sounds familiar to me. I forgot what it was. So we're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to go to this guy right here. Interesting as all can be. Remember. All right, so ex-rep Joseph Resnick is dead. He backed LBJ's war policy. So check this out. There he is. All right. Good-looking guy. Former Representative Joseph Resnick was found dead in his room at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas. He was 45 years old. A sheriff's report said it appeared that Mr. Resnick had died of natural causes in his sleep. Turns out they thought it was myocarditis. The millionaire son of an immigrant farmer, Mr. Resnick had a political career whose relative shortness was made up by flamboyant controversy. During 2 terms, the hard-driving Democrat gained a reputation as a maverick who took up causes that brought him national attention. Opponents denounced him as a publicity hound. Last year, he was an unsuccessful candidate for the Democratic nomination for the U.S. Senator. Right, campaigning in support of Vietnam. He would finish 3rd in the primary for the Democratic seat for that Jarvis or something like that one. Anyway, right here, Jacob Jarvis. So let's keep reading. While he was in politics, the stocky cigar-smoking business executive was often in the headlines. The victory that brought him to Congress in 1964 was itself a major surprise because his district was made up of overwhelmingly Republican. The Republican conservative incumbent, Ernest Wharton, had represented the district since 1951, but this guy won. He had built up a thriving television parts manufacturing business that he had begun in a shed in his parents' farm. All right. He actually was a merchant marine who served in World War II. He was reelected in 1966, defeating a Republican challenge by Hamilton Fish, who came scion of a politically prominent family. Mish won the seat back when Resnick declined to seek re-election to go for Senate instead. Isn't that interesting? Fish won the seat back. Hamilton Fish, a big government liberal Republican, part of the freaking cabal. Henry Kissinger, the whole thing. Anyway, one of his targets was a Federal Farm Bureau Federation, a member which he denounced as a gigantic interlocking nationwide company of combine of insurance companies and other businesses that should be deprived of his tax-exempt status. He went after the American Farm Bureau Federation. He challenged the Navy by coming to the defense of a lieutenant commander who was dismissed from command of a destroyer escort operating off of Vietnam. The Navy said that the commander lacked reliability and exercised faulty judgment. All right, the commander contended that his dismissal was caused by the conspiracy of a dissident junior official. Resnick convened an unofficial hearing to give the commander his day in court. His opponents asserted that he was interested in getting publicity for a Senate drive. Well, it sounds like he was going against the grain, which I like. The representative also gained attention in his battle on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Leone of Tilson, New York, who fought successfully to adopt a small girl they had cared for as foster parents. The Ulster County Welfare Commissioner had opposed the adoption because, among other things, the dark coloring of the Leonises or whatever, as opposed to that of the blonde, blue-eyed child, and because of the Leonises in age. So basically, they were too dark for the blonde girl, and they're a little bit older, even though they had her in foster care. Mr. Resnick, who never finished high school. It's going to sound kind of like I know Trump's not quite the same, but a lot of the similarities. It seems like a rough kind of guy, but he never finished high school. He served as a radio officer in the Merchant Marine in World War II, then worked as a television repairman in the medium's days, and he devised a pre-assembled TV antenna. In 1947, he and his brothers founded Channel Master Corporation, which by 1953 was described as the country's leading manufacturer of TV antennas. He leaves his wife, 3 sons, and a daughter. Anyway, so this is kind of weird. So here's a guy as a renegade. He never went to high school, never finished high school, blue-collar guy, television repairman, founded a business that became very wealthy. Suddenly, he dies at this young age of 45 when he's in a hotel in Las Vegas. Doesn't take a rocket science to figure out there's some shady stuff going on, that he was lured there and just happened to be killed. By who? I don't know, but you and I can guess, make a wild guess. You might say it's the KGB. You might say, I don't think it'd be the Chinese. Well, it might be the Chinese. I don't think the Chinese had any tentacles at that point. I actually think it's the United States government, frankly. I think the FBI did it to him. I don't know why. Because he wasn't able to be controlled. All there is to it. He was a guy, self-made millionaire, a la Trump. I know Trump was I'd get all that, but you know what I'm saying. He had independent money. Let's just put it that way. He wasn't needed to be in control, be able to be controlled, and they needed him out. And they took him out at 45. Just happened to have myocarditis, this healthy guy, 45 years old. Yeah. That's who Sandy Berger worked for. And so Sandy Berger doesn't go to jail, but Resnick dies. All right. And then Clinton, we all know what Clinton did. We all know what Hillary did. We all know what Eric Holder's done. Not a damn one gets investigated by the DOJ. Not a damn one sitting in jail. We all know this. The guy from freaking the old Andrew guy, the old FBI guy, Andrew, I can look him up, his name. I can't remember. Andrew McCabe, is that it? Andrew McCabe. Yeah, Andrew McCabe. There he is. Yes, indeed. Andrew McCabe. Let's read up old Andrew McCabe, this scumbag. Again, no one's sitting in jail. No one's getting the DOJ or the FBI to go to their house at 5 o'clock in the morning. He served as deputy director of the FBI from 2016 to 2018. He joined the FBI special agent in 1996. Anyway, he's a scumbag. This guy should sit. He should allegedly. If I was God, I'd like to see Andrew McCabe in orange, if that makes sense. None of them are going to be. Because they don't care about America. None of these guys do. It's all one big cabal. And I don't know what it takes to get people to freaking off the snide to recognize all of it is fake. All of it. It's all pure evil, and it's not to serve for America. None of it is. Well, the Republicans, look, I'm harder on Republicans than Democrats because I expect more from Republicans. The Republicans just gave they gave another $4 billion to Ukraine. It was like, we can't have reparations. I'm sitting there giving $100 billion to Ukraine for what? So we can freaking pay their freaking employees? This is insanity. A good amount of Republicans went along for that. A hell of a lot of Republicans went on for the CHIPS Act. No, it's all fake. So the point being, they're trying to get you riled up so you do hopefully you do something bad so they don't have to have their false flag. But they got their false flag at the ready. If you followed any of the Muslim terrorism stuff, you recognize the FBI had its hands involved in a hell of a lot of that crap. It's just a fact, my friends. It doesn't mean your freaking regular run-of-the-mill FBI agent is up to it. It just means the leadership is not American made. Their loyalties don't lay here. I don't know where they lay. I don't know, but it ain't here. And so going after the duly elected president of the United States, when we have, the thing is, Dianne freaking Feinstein's driver was an asset of the Chinese commies, and she knew it, and nothing happened to her. Pelosi's son, they all have this kind of crap. No one does a damn thing. All it is to piss you off. But I don't know why they would do that. Why would they get the MAGA crowd fired up? It's 4 months before the elections. It doesn't make sense. Other than for one of two reasons. Is that they want to tell Trumpsters, stay the hell out of here. This ain't your game. Or they want to have a false flag provocation. I can't think of anything else. So let me turn over and see what you guys got. Yeah, it was. Well, I tell you, Kirk, this used to be a pet peeve of mine too. I actually, when I read my man Sundance's thing over at the Conservative Treehouse, he made a great point. He goes, dude, we expected Trump to go against this one guy to go against everything. I agree with that 100%. Look, I think Trump is way too pro-vaccine. I just think he's misreading his crowd. I really do. And I think Trump is usually better than this. I just think he's misreading his crowd about the vaccines. I think he thinks we appreciate it for him, and we don't. But it's okay to make a mistake. He made a mistake there, 100%. And he wasn't all that. Look, and I'm not being a Trump apologist. I'm just telling you, he wasn't that big on the lockdowns. I mean, he fell for it. I get it. But if you read just read the Conservative Treehouse. Just follow that, conservativetreehouse.com. You'll put you right with Trump because you're like, yeah, he was relying on people he trusted to tell him advice because he couldn't do everything. He just couldn't, man. It was just him against literally the world there. And he just, he did a lot of good stuff. And I will, because I was like that too. I said, yep, vaccinations, no, none of my watch. I was like that too. And then I've had an epiphany say, no, what else can he do? I mean, my goodness. And by the way, Trump is a germaphobe. Don't forget. I mean, I don't know if he still is. I imagine he is. So I can see him falling into the vaccine, like, oh my goodness, the vaccines. We got a guy mowing my lawn. I still pay to have someone mow my lawn. All right. 100%. Democrats always stick together. 100%. Jeff Sessions, freaking scumbag. I gotta go in the other room here. Hold on a second, because I got a guy mowing. Because I pay to have someone mowed. I know I'm a rich guy. I'm rich. I'm a spoiled rich guy. We're gonna go over here, I think. Yeah. Hold on just a second. Just want to make sure I got my babies away from me. You guys, that's gonna be kind of loud. I'm just gonna sit over here for the time being. All right. Everybody's gone except for me. It's kind of cool having the house to yourself again. All right. So, what was I just saying? Yeah, 100%. Trump needs to finish what he started. 100%. We got to get him back. No other way around that. I'm a fan of DeSantis, Monty. I like him a lot. I want to give Trump another go at it. Let's put it this way: if Trump runs, and I've changed my mind on this. I hope y'all can still hear me. I'm sitting on my couch. But if Trump, if Trump runs and DeSantis runs, I'm going for Trump. This was just the icing on the cake for me. Which is why it's still weird why they did this. Why would they do this, man? Why would they solidify Trump's base? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Yeah, you guys can. Well, I'm going to move back here in just a second, Peter. When he's gone, he's just out the front yard, and you couldn't hear. My hearing's not very good, Peter. So when I hear too many things going on at one time, it's bad. Let's see. But yeah, so I like DeSantis. Oh, anyway, so I've come around because with back to the Trumpster, I think he did pretty much the best they could. I think they dropped the COVID thing on him, and I think it took him off. Literally took him off. I think it just took him by surprise. I don't know. I mean, hell, Trump could be in on this. I don't know. There are a lot of people in my thinking who think Trump is all part of it. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe. I don't know. What's up, girl? I thought you guys were going to lunch. Oh, let me go back to the room. Am I going to lunch? All right, hold on a sec. I thought I was all here by myself, but there's Maddie. Want to say hi? Oh, no. Okay. Hold on a second. I'm going to go back. I'm just going to close the windows so the boys, being the dogs, don't see the mower. He's out of here now, but he'll be back, and you'll hear the doggies because they're loud. Those dogs. But I think at the end of the day, we got to get DeSantis is young enough. He has his time. He has more time to. He has more time. Trump doesn't. I think 2024, and I hate to say a once in a lifetime thing. I don't want to sound like that because that's what I thought with before. But in this case, I truly think it is. And everyone after George W. Bush, even with the Iraq War, lots of evidence that was faked. We know that in terms of the weapons of mass destruction. And they had huge majorities that Democrats did. Nothing ever happened to him because he was part of the cabal. Now they all love George W. Bush. They never went after George H.W. Bush. None of these guys never went after anyone. Never went after Castle Weinberger. Never went after any of those guys because they're all part of the cabal, man. But they went after Trump because that's why I think he's not in on it. Because they never went after any of the other guys, any of them, man, any of them. But they went after Trump. So some people, I still think Putin's in on it. I really do. So I don't think Trump is, or else they would have let him go, and he would gather like with dignity of George H.W. Bush. All the people who hated George H.W. Bush love him now. All the people who hated Dick Cheney and Lynn Cheney love them now. It's weird how that works, but they don't love Trump. It's weird. They don't retire with dignity. The Republicans always retire with dignity for the left, and then they turn their ire on whoever's in there. But now it's like Trump is gone. He's not gone. It's weird. This could just be a mistake on the freaking big government's part. They could have just screwed up, reading their own headlines, thinking that Trump has no support. I saw a poll the other day that said Biden would handily beat Trump in a re-election. I said, I don't trust that poll to save my life. I don't know if it's likely voters, registered voters. I don't know who it is, but the idea that Biden would beat Trump right now to save, I don't think so at all. Now, it might well be true. It might well. I don't really care that much because they're not running against each other. But at the end of the day, I think maybe just the FBI and the DOJ just reads their own headlines and say, yeah, we're loved. We can do no wrong. People hate Trump. I just don't know. So I just don't. I truly believe at the end of the day that Putin is part of the cabal. We know Dan Crenshaw is. There's another guy that we know too. I forgot who it was. Some chick. Uh, is it Tulsi? I don't think it's Tulsi. But Dan, a lot of guys on the right are part of the cabal. They're young global leaders, which we know their cabal is. Um, was DeSantis? I don't think DeSantis was. Rush Limbaugh was a big fan of DeSantis before DeSantis was well known, even in Florida. And Rush's was pretty keen on being able to spot a fraud from a mile away. He liked Paxton in Texas, and he liked DeSantis. I remember that for a fact. So Rush was pretty keen on DeSantis. This is well before DeSantis was even, probably before he even ran for governor. I think he was a congressman, if memory serves. All right, so someone had said something here. Yeah, the Chinese driver is working with the approval of the CIA. They're embedded 100%, man. All right, hold on a second. Let's see what you guys have to say. Sandy Burglar, that's what Rush said. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were all wrong, Jill. We all thought Bush. We all trusted. We're scumbags for that. We were just ignorant fools. Now we're not ignorant. Ignorance is bliss, and I would thought. I thought it was good. Wait. Let's see here. Crowder had Giuliani on today. He said the FBI broke a padlock. They put on the door and they broke in yesterday. They lost it. Yeah, I mean, you can't. We are talking. I mean, that's the thing. At the end of the day, it's still the government. You can't overlook just basic incompetence, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, this just might be some basic incompetence. This is why one of the reasons I don't think we went to the moon. I just literally the idea that NASA in 2 years was able to get our crap together, send a guy to the moon. We haven't gone back in 50 years essentially, because in 1968 we just got over having 3 astronauts get killed in a fire on the takeoff, and so they had to start from scratch, literally start from scratch. James Webb, his right hand man, and the top astronaut all retired. And from scratch, we were able to get people out there. And it's just the government doesn't work like that. And they'll say, but these are private contractors. All right. Well, I mean, my goodness, private contractors, they still weren't able to get their crap together. And so you're saying from 1968, when they literally had to start from scratch to 1970, they were able to get a man on the moon. I don't buy it for 2 seconds. There's no way. Because government's not competent, man. They're just not. You know what I'm saying? And so this could be just a classic case of overreaching by a government entity. I mean, their examples are tons, man. Thankfully, we're not at war right now. Oh, we kind of are. Ukraine is our what's our whatever that is called. You know what I'm saying? How like Russia and Vietnam, or satellite. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they got to get rid of the drop boxes. And that's the thing that really bothers me most. But Trump couldn't have done anything about that, Marie. It wasn't. I mean, Trump. The elections are federalism, which is the way it should be. The sad thing is, all it takes is a couple counties. We have a Secretary of State here in Georgia who's a scumbag. He's a Republican, and he just got renominated in the Republican Party, even though he watched the corruption that happened here. He did nothing. Nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it just takes a couple counties and a couple states, and we got Biden instead of Trump. It's just that simple. That's all it takes. And unfortunately, there's no better way. We don't want to federalize elections. Trust me. Anytime you federalize something, it's always going to turn against you. We all thought the TSA, the Department of Homeland Security, we all thought that was the right thing to do. How wrong we were, man. You can't do that. You can't federalize stuff because it will be turned against you. You certainly don't want freaking the people in D.C. to federalize your county election. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, won by dogs named Trump, man. Trump's is a smokescreen, but okay, watch the man behind the curtain. What does that even mean? Who is that man behind the curtain? I don't get what that means. It's not even about 1-6 about stopping him from winning. Yeah, but I get that. But how is this? I don't get how this stops him from winning the next election. I think if anything, it generates that level of animosity and the recognition that the guy was just he was put up. I mean, what I mean that he was set up for fall from 2016 on. Man. They've been out to get him, and they've done everything they could, and everybody knows this. He's never had a fair shake. This guy, and it's just everybody knows this. And I mean, this Clowney here, Stoner right here. He's like, yeah, as long as it's not my guy, it's cool. I mean, if it's his guy, he'd be freaking out. And hopefully, rightly so. It's crazy, man. It's crazy that how much they hate this guy. And I was reading this article about how Trump said bad things about African immigrants, and I said, no, he didn't. You're making crap up. And he's like, well, boo. I said, yeah, see, you're lying. You're lying, scumbags. And that's the thing. We can't play nice with people who want to destroy the nation we love. We can't. And I'm not gonna be a dick. I'm not gonna be like, there's no time. I'm just laughing at him. So let's just everyone laugh at Kevin Stoner. Kevin, we're gonna win. You're gonna be like, oh, the Nazis are coming because we're all Nazis. We're all jackbooted thugs. Yeah, it's freaking stupid. I was reading this lady's article the other day who literally thinks there's a Nazi right around the corner. I said, you're a freaking disillusioned. She literally thinks that if the Republicans win again, she will be in prison. I said, this is crazy. Let's see. New York police is reporting that the judge who approved FBI raid. That's right. He privately represented Epstein associates. Let's take a look here. Proxy, yeah, a satellite proxy, yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Yeah, I did too, man. Kirk, compassionate conservative, and even Rush is saying, why do we ever have to qualify being a conservative? Conservative is compassionate, 100%. Ooh, there's an interesting. Trump going to give foreign aid to Ukraine if Ukraine war is still happening. No more foreign. That's interesting, man. Good point. And don't forget what freaking Sniffy said. I wanted the prosecutor out, and hell's bells, he was out. They wanted the money, get rid of the prosecutor. There are three things going at the same time. Alternate electors, removing classified docs, January 6th. Yeah, I don't know. You know it's about once. I mean, I get that. I'm not. I 100%. I just think actually the people who are anti-Trump they really think the January 6th thing is legit. It's weird to me, man. I mean, these guys, they're delusional. Again, when people are crazy, you can't negotiate with crazy people. They're so delusional. I mean, what I mean by that is just don't give them any time of the day. Just laugh at them and move on because you're never going to convince people who are. It's kind of like trying to convince people that rooftop solar or solar, however you want to do it, any kind of photovoltaic, even solar thermal, you're not going to get the energy you need to run a society. It's not. Trying to convince people that they're so disillusioned. They're so illusional. It's their faith, literally their faith. They say the same about us and our belief in God. That's fine. I'll take that any day of the week. I will much, much, much rather be disillusioned with God and Jesus than be disillusioned in something that literally can't happen. These people are so disillusioned. It's quite frightening, frankly, how many of them there are. And the reason is because they're all on their stupid Facebook and YouTube all love it. They all love us beating each other over the head. But the problem is we've never fought back until Trump, our side. We've always just taken. Look where we are, 57 flavors. Look where we are, man. And we've had, as I said in a video a couple of years ago, the Republicans have been in the presidency more than the Democrats in my lifetime. The Republicans have had both sides of Congress more than the Democrats while they were in the presidency in my lifetime. Did I do my lifetime or 1980? I can't remember. But basically my lifetime, the Republicans have had more presidency years and more a straight ticket, Republican Senate, House, and president more than the Democrats. And yet, look, here we still are. Because the Republican Party isn't our friend. It's just not our friend. And we can say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But is the Republican Party truly the enemy of my enemy? I don't think so. So for me, it's MAGA bust. I mean, literally, we get a non. I mean, and this is where it gets challenging. Is Brian Kemp a non-MAGA guy? I don't think so. Jill's on here who would argue boisterously about that. Is I hate to say it, but I have to vote for Brad Puffensbarger because his opponent is so whacked that she'll have basically. I mean, literally, if you can fog a mirror, you can vote, and it'll be pre-marked for the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it. But if that's a state, thankfully. But for a federal election, if it's non-MAGA, I'm not voting for you, man. I don't care. I don't care who it is. And I know Herschel Walker's MAGA. One of the best things that this is going to get some motivation under her. I mean, Herschel Walker's been running some pretty good ads lately, thankfully. The last couple of weeks, I'm seeing some pretty good ads, showing how Warnock is financing stadiums in New Jersey, how Warnock is financing stuff overseas, and that's good stuff. I like to see that. He said here in Georgia, we got these high prices for everything, and Warnock is too busy, spending money to finance a soccer stadium in New Jersey. It's good stuff. That's a very good ad. Very good ad. I like to see that as opposed to, I'm Herschel Walker. I support the blue. I support America. And you can't. And this negative campaigning works better than positive campaigning. Everyone knows who Herschel Walker is. You don't have to reintroduce yourself, Herschel. We all know who you are. You got bang, bang, bang on how evil Warnock is. That's what you got to do. Negative campaigning works. We've had studies after studies after studies of this. People say, why do they do all these negative campaigns? Because it works. It's kind of like clickbait. We're all gonna die. You'll get 1,000 views. Everything is great. You'll get 10. It's the same thing here. So okay. I mean, so Kirk is already hanging it up, man. Trump administration won't be able to get anything done. Yeah, I disagree. But the only way to find out is to get that sucker back in there, and let's find out. I think this time we will. I think he just said, man, I'm going to play ball with these people. Jeff Sessions, I'm going to trust that guy. Who could Trump have predicted that Jeff Sessions would recuse himself? No, couldn't have predicted that. Come on, Kirk. Jeff Sessions, we all supported Sessions. We said he's the right guy for the job. The minute there's any kind of controversy, Sessions like, I'm going to show the Democrats that I want to, meet you in the middle. Oh, there it is. Finnegan. I was like, what is that noise? Finnegan just came in. I'm going to reach across the aisle. I'll recuse myself. And that started the whole thing. No one would have, we all thought Sessions was the man. Can't blame Trump for that. You know what I'm saying? We all thought he was the man. We all thought freaking General Mathis was the man. Can't blame Trump for that. We all did. And if Trump did too, what are we supposed to do? Yell at Trump for saying how you should have known better than what we thought? He went in there thinking Pence was legit. We all, Pence was always kind of nonchalant to me, but it's all right. He works. It's kind of like when I was a big Bush guy. I thought Cheney was a good guy. So he doesn't do much. He's not going to bring Wyoming, but he works. Pence wasn't going to bring Indiana. Trump already had Indiana, but he works. He's competent. He's loyal. Well, it turns out, he was loyal to the globalist cabal, as was Cheney. You know what I'm saying? But we all thought these guys were legit. Each and every one of us. I know question about Chris Wray and the FBI. That was odd, but Trump. So we trusted Trump's judgment. And I'm sure Trump had him researched, and he said, the people that he trusted said, no, he's legit. He'll be righteous. And it turns out he's a scumbag. He should be an orange. You know what I'm saying? But Trump got rid of Comey. Trump got rid of McCabe. I mean, that's a step in the right direction for sure. So I don't want to hear that Trump didn't do anything. I think he went in there trying to offer peace at the hostility that he was facing, and they, like the Democrats always do. It's kind of like George W. Bush. Read my lips. No new taxes. He negotiates a tax hike with George Mitchell from Maine. Why? Because Bush said for every dollar in tax increase, will reduce the federal spending by $2. Well, turns out George Bush wasn't a fool. George H.W. Bush. He likes government spending. Shh, don't tell anybody. Republicans like government spending. So George Bush says, I'll go in there. We all think, and hindsight's 2020, I get it, but we all thought that George H.W. Bush got rooked. No, he knew what the hell he was doing because he's part of the globalist cabal. He says, if I don't win, at least Ross Perot won't win. At least Clinton will, and we can easily turn Clinton. You know what I'm saying? Because they got so much stuff on Clinton. We can turn him on a dime. That's easy. Clinton's the biggest sellout there is, man. Easy with that guy. I mean, you don't have to throw a beautiful lady. You don't even have to throw a beautiful Russian in front of Clinton. Just so throw someone in a dress. Hell, it could be 57 flavors. And Clinton's like, ooh, here's a cigar. You see what I'm saying? Clinton doesn't care. He's just trying to freaking hook up with anything that fogs and mirror. He's like, sweet, cigars. He doesn't care. He had so much stuff on Clinton, it's insane. And he turned left like that. What George H.W. Bush just didn't want Perot to win. That would have been bad. You know what I'm saying? For the globalists. And of course, Perot did not win. A lot of people say Perot kept Bush from winning. I'm not sure I agree with that anymore. Perot got 19% of the vote. Clinton only got 43 and Bush got 37. But between Bush and the Clinton, it's still a majority. 60% of the votes went to those globalists. I don't think Perot kept Bush from winning. Ultimately, he probably did. I just don't think that was. I don't think George H.W. Bush's second term would have been any better than Clinton's. That's for damn sure. If that makes sense. Anyway, so George H.W. Read my lips, don't do taxes. We're going to cut the spending by $2 for every dollar of tax increases. Okay, sign here. Yeah. Why did we go to war in Iraq? Oh, because the Saudis begged us, or was the Kuwaitis, come risk American blood and treasure to save the oil supply. Guys, such a clown show. It's the FBI rating Josh for the jab, and we don't want a civil war. That's stupid, man. Yeah, Republicans borrow and spend. Exactly right, Jenna. 100%. Oh, I thought they were going to lunch. I guess not. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. 100%. We had a lot of unrealistic expectations for Trump. 100%. And don't forget, man, Trump, he's still got to get the Congress. I mean, he had Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. Jeez. No, I kind of think so too. I'm going to go against what my man William Jacobson over at Legal Insurrection said, is that the Democrats want Trump to announce. I think Trump should say, I'm running, man. Let this be a referendum on me. You know what I'm saying? I would be happy with that, because that would show once and for all that, I think, well, I don't trust I just don't trust the vote counting. Let's put it that way. But I would not expect him. I would not be disappointed if he did that. 100%. Yeah, Sessions. He was a huge disappointment because he turned globalist. I don't know why, where, or how, what they had him. I don't know, but he wasn't like that, and then he was. You see what I'm saying? What happened? The Democrats never recuse themselves, ever. It's always the Republicans. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, why are you recusing yourself? So they never do that, man. Ever. It's nuts. And yet, the first order of business session is like, well, I just want to be nice. It's crazy. And yet the funny thing is that Sessions was in the Senate. He knew how this worked. I don't know. It's just, the point being is you can't have DC guys in there. You can't. This is one of the best things that Trump did, when he hopefully wins re-election in 2024. And I say re-election, I really mean that. He'll break up. He'll put the Department of Energy in Kansas City, I think is what he's talking about. Department of Interior in freaking Boulder, Colorado. Freaking put that. I don't know who else. Department of Labor, put that in freaking Detroit, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Get him out of DC. That's the best way to break up the swamp. That was from Trump. That was a great idea. So whoever gave him that idea, or if he took it on his own, kudos. That's the way you break up the cabal. You say, all right, we're going to move these agencies. FDA will put that in where they're developing food. Freaking Omaha, Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? Or USDA. 100%. I completely agree. Joe says biggest cover up all time. They're in the final throes of falling apart. So I wonder if that too, Jill. That's my wish. I hope it's not wishful thinking, but that's kind of my thinking, is that it's falling in on them, and this is their last gasp. I don't truly believe that. Actually, I don't. I wish I did. I just don't. I'm not there. I don't think it's that like that at all. I think they're too big. They're too powerful. The globalist cabal is too big. That I don't think this is the last gasp at all. I think it's. I think there's. At the end of the day, I think they're doing one of those two things, like I said before, looking for provocation, But it don't, but that's one thing. They don't need a. I guess they could. They do need a reason for one of their assets to go crazy, and the reason would be they're so mad at Trump's raid that he went. That would make sense actually. So they're looking for a false flag provocation, and or they just want to tell other Trumpers, hey, if you come, this is gonna be you. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want that. So stay back, and you'll be fine. No, what's Herschel got? Well, he's got that he's not the current clown. That's I'm okay with that. And Herschel supported Trump from the get go. He wasn't afraid to support Trump. And by the way, Herschel almost broke the back of the NFL. Almost when he signed with the New Jersey Generals of the USFL. Trumpster signed him. Trump screwed the USFL up. Trump gambled and lost. So, and, Trump's a risk taker. I'll give him that. But man, you know what I'm saying? He had a good thing going with the USFL, and then he had to say, we got to go after the fall market. I said, you're not big enough. You're not. I remember this in 1985. I said, you're not, the USFL is not established enough. They have a lot of weak teams. San Antonio Gunslingers, the San Antonio Gunslingers, the Pittsburgh Maulers, the Boston, the New Orleans Breakers. They had a couple of strong teams, a number of strong teams, but they had a bunch of the Tampa Bay Bandits, Houston Gamblers, but they had a bunch of weak teams too. And to challenge the NFL, there was too top heavy, with just a couple big teams and a bunch that weren't very well financed. And Trump said, "This is it." I said, "Man, you got to wait. You got to get these guys. You got to build a better franchise." And he went for it. He won, and he won $1. That was it, unfortunately. I love the USFL. It's fantastic, man. Big fan, long time, first time. But they couldn't. I mean, hell, the Denver Gold. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all remember the Denver Gold. We had the team in the Oklahoma Bandits, so I think later became Arizona, Michigan Panthers, Philadelphia Stars. Washington Generals weren't any good, but that was in the midst of the Washington Redskins were in their freaking dynasty. The Tampa Bay Bandits had a team in Birmingham had a pretty good turnout there. Houston Gamblers seems like I'm missing one or two. LA Express, they never football in LA doesn't do anything. No one cares. But the Rams won the Super Bowl, and watch the minute the Rams go, a game under 500, there'll be no crowd. I can't remember what else they had. To Pittsburgh, Chicago Blitz. They were off and on. I remember them, Chicago Blitz. They had, I don't think they had a team in Tennessee. They had Oklahoma. Doug Williams played for the Oklahoma Bandits, who moved to Arizona. Oklahoma Outlaws, that's what it was. Tampa Bay Bandits. I don't think they had a team in Memphis. Birmingham Showboats. I can't remember. Anyway, it was fun, but Trump lost there. He won, but he lost, if that makes sense. Oh, yeah, no. Chris Christie, Christine Todd Whitman. This is your typical Republican right there. Remember, and whatever that tall blonde chick, and whatever her name is, Coulter, she loved Chris Christie. Loved Chris Christie. Crimea invaded, and next, Ukraine invaded. The losses continue. Worldwide food and food short hammers, but mostly the poor. Yeah, if you want to look at 57 flavor, that makes you might want to read. Might need to put a picture of some hot, smoking hot lady in front of you and see where you're standing there, Bill. Biden just sent another $8.5 billion over to Ukraine. That's fantastic. How do I know that I'm not the crazy one? Because I'm not crazy. Not like they did JFK. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think that they're going to do that. I think that would be I just don't think they're going to do that. But it could be. I mean, who knows? I don't trust any of these guys. You know what I'm saying? All right. Yeah, well, here's the thing. George W. Bush was president with less than 60,000 votes just in Ohio. I mean, this is the thing, man. I mean, and the Republicans haven't had a wipeout since George H.W. Bush off the Reagan legacy. I mean, that's just a fact, man. So Reagan, Bush, and we haven't had a win. I mean, Bush, the first, won by 500 votes, and a second, won by 500 votes in 2000 in Florida. And Bush, the second time, won by 60,000 votes in Ohio. That's it. Obama swamped him, twice. He destroyed McCain, destroyed Romney twice. Trump won by literally by the skin of his teeth. In fact, I've always said, I've done videos on this. If you actually look at the potential for fraud that happened in Michigan, no wonder why Hillary Clinton was pissed, dude. They shut down one of her counties too soon, and literally, I was surprised. Like, whoa, I did not. This is when I was doing my research on the 2020 interesting votes, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink, wink. The most fair and clear election ever in the history of mankind. My vote counted for Biden here in Fulton County. But when I was doing my research on that, I was looking I think it's Macomb County, one of those counties up in Michigan. They closed. It was crazy, man. There's videos on that where you're like, ooh, if Hillary was my candidate, I'd been like, wait a second, man, this is nuts. What happened? You can't just close your county early and all. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the reasons I don't want to give. What they say, don't give to. Don't ascribe deviousness when it can be incompetency or something like that. I'm butchering it, but basically, don't attribute evil when it can be just basic incompetence, if that makes sense. I think 2020 was a whole lot different, but they had a lot of incompetent, and the reason was I don't think they expected Trump to carry any weight, and we did. And if we read Sundance over the conservative treehouse, we knew that he was going to win. But it was if I was Hillary, I would have been pissed. So wait a second, happened in Michigan. We got example after example of shenanigans. It wasn't necessarily fraud; it was just incompetence. And they, other than the stupid lady from the Green Party who they paid off, because I forgot who the Green Party lady was, but she wanted to protest. And just amazingly, just like that, she said, "No, I don't want to protest anymore, or at least have recounts and stuff." She was going to sue. She was raising money to sue. And just like that, she goes, I'm good. Just like all the candidates in South Carolina, Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, all those clowns. I'm good. I'm gonna give it to Joe. The whole thing's corrupt. Oh, yeah. Kevin was like, they're gonna get me. The Nazis are coming. Anyway. Oh boy, we got some con on here again. How we delete the dating site. Joe Jorgensen. No, I don't think that was it. I think Joe Jorgensen was the libertarian candidate. Jill Stein, that's it right there. Jill Stein, yeah. Joe Jorgensen's a clown libertarian who supported BLM and the lockdowns and probably the vax mandates. With friends like that, who needs enemies? There's George with his 2 cents. Thanks, man. Never attribute to malice, which is adequately explained by stupidity. There you go. Ordinary Americans and Trump should have fought in 2020. That was the moment. We'll see, man. I'm not so sure that's it. Feels like, George, you're hot up there today, Dana? Hot up there? Hot and muggy? All right. The Trump video that came out this morning on True Social is brilliant, quite moving. I wonder how many have even heard all his recent speeches and rallying. Are they being suppressed? Yeah, I don't know. But the best thing is this keeps. Yes, this is what's going to happen next. If I'm Zelensky, I'm scared 100%. If I'm Zelensky, I'm like, ooh, because they're losing, and we know that the media is turning on them. We know that, and Zelensky's got to feel like, dude, I can't cover up for you anymore, Joe. The walls are crashing, and Joe's like, okay, 10% for the big guy, and see you, Zelensky. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. 100%. We were the ones not quite ready for. I completely agree. I've come to that conclusion, Jill, that, and I said the first 3 years were great, the last was bad, and I take that back. I literally, after reading again, I sent Jill that article from the Conservative Treehouse. I said, once you realize how many people are against this guy, everybody, and once you turn the mirror to yourself, say, did you, Sundance saying, did you support this guy, that guy, that guy? You're like, yes. All right, so you're going to blame Trump? We are living in a police. Literally, we are. The Dems desperate. Yeah, so remember, Trump is. You think they're after him? He's the only thing that stands between. Let me see if I can't find that meme. That's fantastic because we're going to look on a strategy page. I don't trust Google as far as I could kick them. I use Google for stuff, basically like financial planning stuff. But when it comes to anything politically, Google can kiss my big fat soft behind. Strategy. Start page. Start page. What is? Let's see if I can't find this meme because it's great. Hold on just a second. Let's see if I can't find it. I mean, this could just be a big freaking major mistake right here by the libs. I mean, they could say, "Hey, we're going to scare people," and it really pisses people off. This is really making people mad. Rightly so. Like, we don't want the government going after the president that we supported. This is insanity. All right, it's right here. This is the meme of the day, and they take this and tattoo it on their brain. In reality, they're not after me; they're after you. I'm just in the way. There's our man. So I am 100% back on the Trump train, which is why there's something I can't believe that they'd be that stupid. So there's something else going on. I don't know what it is, man. They can't be that stupid to solidify the forces and get them fired up and to take people who are kind of like, man, I don't know, maybe Trump's old and then just I don't get it. That's weird because all it's going to do is in the primaries aren't over yet. We still got some primaries yet, and it's going to support, just infuriate more MAGA guys to vote for the MAGA candidates. Weird. All right, my friends, well, that's an hour. I just want to jump on board. Hopefully, I got some of your comments in here. After the bogus election, Celtic spirit, cabal uses money to force compliance. Greed wins over integrity. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, they had something on Sessions. I don't know what it is, or they created. Don't forget. And here's finally, if I may, just let me. Do you mean you want two sets of laws, one for the politicals? I don't understand what you mean. I don't get what you mean. I thought I just banned this guy. I keep getting the love chat. Dude, I'm married. I don't need your love chat. I got all the love I need from my beautiful, beautiful clown. I don't get what Kathleen's saying. Do you want two sets of laws? There are already two sets of laws. There's a great song by the Foreskins. If you're ever interested, you wonder where the term ACAB comes from, which is actually kind of funny because there's the Foreskins. One law for them. One law for them is actually kind of funny because they're an English working class oi band, and they are the ones who came up with the ACAB term. And I just always kind of chuckled when Antifa took that over. Look, I've never anti-police. I've always been. I mean, I've always liked the police. I trust the police, and I have nothing but respect for my local police force. Nothing. I mean, are there scumbags in the cops? Sure. Are the cops do bad things? Welcome to the world. There's always a couple scumbags in every group of people. But at the end of the day, when things are going bad, you're going to want two things: the policeman to show up, or the good old U.S. of A. Man, that's the thing. Is I don't want to sacrifice that at all. When things are going bad in the world, you want that American flag around. Because, at the end of the day, as corrupt as we are still the best game in town. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. And now that's starting to become less and less so, if you know what I'm saying, because of the globalists that have taken over. But we're not down yet. We're down. We're not out. Not in the least. And I was listening to Mark Dice today. He's like, maybe one generation, maybe one and a half, but the empire is falling. And I'm not that pessimistic in the least. There's too many good people in the United States. I don't, I mean, the empire can never keep going forever. And it is an empire. I mean, look what we're doing all over the world. But in of itself, the people that we have are better because we know what freedom is like. Now, I will say I was very disappointed among the two in 2020 about how many people submitted I'm positive about that though. There's the big boy. Hi, hi. Look at that guy. I mean, he's just a half breed, this guy, but look how beautiful. And there's ants in his pants right here. Hi, ants. Hi there, ants and pants. I'm actually stoked though. How many people have come to the conclusion that the government can't be trusted because of what happened in 2020? I'm telling you, man. You know, if you would have described yourself have if you would have said anything against any kind of jabba jabba, I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking MMR, smallpox, polio. And there's still a bunch of people that say, "How dare you?" And I had a guy say, "Oh, you should be shunned." And he showed a picture of some guy in an iron lung. And I said, "That's okay." I said, "Well, you're not really shunning me if you're emailing me or commenting that I should be shunned." But people have freaking said, "I'm out of here, man. You're crazy." But now people are saying maybe there's more to the story, and you should find out there's a whole lot more to the story. And once you come to the conclusion that you've been sold a freaking, you'll start reading books like Dangerous Doses by Morris Beal. You start reading Ida Onoroff. Talk about the let's just see, put that stuff in there. It's from 1977. The best book you could possibly ever read though is I've already read this, The House of Rockefeller, right there. House of Rockefeller. You'll start reading it. It's like, man, this has been going on for a long, long time. You know what I'm saying? All this crap. And you'll start reading how the globalist cabal controls everything. And you're like, all right, well, now that I know that, now I have an option. I can just be depressed and say, oh, or I can say, even with that, Americans are still kicking ass and taking names. Yes, we did solidify some of the stuff they did in 2020. I grant you. We're taking it back, man. We're not Canada. You know, it's funny because I was reading an article on What's Up with That saying it's no longer we got to reduce our CO2. Now it's all greenhouse gases. You know what I'm saying? That's what Canadians, Netherlands are doing. All over. Like we got to reduce greenhouse gases. Like wait, where'd that come from? I thought carbon dioxide in particular was the enemy. Now it's everything. It's freaking methane, nitrous oxide, water vapor. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And Canada's going along those lines, hook, line, and sinker. I can't see Americans sitting there saying, "Yeah, go ahead and ban nitrogen fertilizer in the United States." They're not banning it; they're just reducing it. They're enacting guidance, if you will, to reduce nitrogen fertilizer by 30%. I don't see that happening here. It could. I mean, anything could happen. After 2020, anything could happen. I just don't think. I think people are so caught off guard by 2020. We had Trump in office who seemed to be caught off guard. And we had a lot of pandemic porn that was out there, Walking Dead, all kinds of those kind of dystopian movies and books, Hunger Games, a lot of pandemic crap out there that was really prevalent in the teens. And so you have all these factors. And I think all of a sudden people like, maybe it's coming true. Maybe we do. And you're reading these things by not even libertarians, but by basic anarchists. You're like, how, even they are like fell for. You're like, how it's weird. I just think there's some kind of like aura that fell across the United States that really changed, that like filtered into people's brains and made normal, I should say, thinking people just they lost it. They did, and I'm not sure they're going to lose it again. I mean, we'll see. But I'm seeing people like Brett Weinstein, Joe Rogan. I don't trust Joe Rogan as far as I can kick him, but he has a big audience, and he was, at least somewhat skeptical of various things. So I give him credit for that. I think Joe Rogan is part of the cabal. I'm saying 100%. I think he's controlled opposition. But with that said, I mean, at least he has ability to challenge some of the stuff, which is good. Some of these guys, you're like, damn, hell, Martin Kulldorff. I've talked about him a million times. So he's the guy who did the study on the validity of the CDC recommended vaccines for the Institute of Medicine back in 2012. He's a guy who said, it's safe. I'm reading the thing. I said, where? I'm trying to read there, Dr. Kulldorff, where it says it's safe, because it didn't say it in your study, but you guys keep claiming it is. It's not. And then now he's persona non grata. It's crazy. It's crazy. All these libs that used to be liberals are now like, wait a second. What the hell is happening? Look at Stone Pablo. He great. I love Stone Pablo. Dude, I keep trying to ban this guy. He really wants me to go on a dating site. Who wants Liz Cheney? We got someone who wants. Wait. Who wants Liz Cheney? You gotta. Oh, Kathleen. Oh, is that the same Kathleen? Yes, it is. Okay, I remember her. She's a big Liz Cheney fan. I remember that. Yep, Stoner Pablo's back. Look at that, Denise. Yeah, I'm not. But remember, we still a lot of people don't go to college, man. You know what I'm saying? And a lot less are going. A lot less men are going. And a lot less white men, hopefully, are going too. And as such, a lot less white men who go, a lot less black men who go, hopefully, are going to be wanted because they'll go into trades and other professions that make some money, and they're going to be desired by ladies who are looking to have children. You see what I'm saying? And those ladies aren't going to want a 57 flavor male feminist. They're going to want a guy who works, who provides, who's a man. You're not going to want some, oh, I'm a feminist, honey, whatever you want. They're like, no, I want someone to provide for me, take care of me, and protect me so I can raise the kids like I'm supposed to. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not at all in the least pessimistic. I'm optimistic. I think the last 2 years are good. I think it's going to be challenging, and there's a lot to be pissed off, but I am pissed by this whole FBI raid. I'm just not pissed the same way like they're coming for. I don't think that. I think at the end of the day, they either made a fundamental mistake, not recognizing that Trump still has a lot of support, or they're just. If I'm the Democrats right now, I'm very worried. Let's put it that way. If I'm the Democrats, I'm like, why did we do this? Why did we stir the hornet's nest? You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way that the Democrats want this on the agenda as they go into the midterms. No way. Which is good. Anytime the Democrats are backtracking. So what the Republicans need to do, and we won't do until we get rid of Lindsey Graham and all these guys. Look, I get it. He was running against Jamie Harrison. I was hoping Lindsey Graham would win, and he did. Brad Puffensbarger, I get it. You got to win the primary. If you don't win the primary, then you guys got to go the better of the two things. I hate to say it like that, but at the end of the day, who are you going to vote for? Jamie Harrison in South Carolina over Lindsey Graham? You can't. It is what it is, man. And it's nothing you can do about it other than hopefully you win the primary. We've taken out a number of guys in the primary. Let's go back to conservative treehouse. So the primary is where you can make the headway. It's not going to be in the general because the general the stakes have already been chosen. It's a primary. So let's just look again at the primaries, who we have taken out, who voted for the Trump impeachment. And we will show you here that we, right here, can you also, yeah. So we've taken out, by, like, he lost, this guy, right here is the only guy who's won so far. All these guys voted for the Trump impeachment. And they all have retired or have lost. This is the only one who stayed in there, and she's gone. I don't know about this guy. Hopefully I don't know. Hopefully he loses too. But anyway, so we, let's see. Joe Kent, where was it here? Joe Kent has won, so that's good. So he beat this chick right here, Jaime Herrera Butler. Is she? Right here. He beat her. I guess she was the incumbent. Sweet. There we go. And so Joe Kent will win, and he'll win that seat as well. So that's good. Got to go, sister. Don't get on the Trump train, or we're going to crush you. That's all there is to it. Now, we didn't crush them all. This guy won closer than he should have, but we'll see if he retains his House seat. I wouldn't vote for him. You vote for Trump or to impeach Trump, you're gone. I'm not voting for any Republican who voted to impeach Trump. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care if the Democrat wins. So there's lots of good stuff there. Now, it'd be better to see the Senate, but the Senate carried. Trump won some Senate seats in 2018. He wasn't supposed to have, and the Senate is because of no gerrymandering and all that stuff. It's easier to get a moderate, but also it can be a little bit easier to take out in the primary as well, as witnessed by the guy who won in Pennsylvania. Not freaking Dr. Oz. I don't know what Trump is doing there. I don't know, but the left-wing guy, he won the primary. He'll probably win the seat, and he's nuts. You know what I'm saying? But that's what happens. Sometimes it's easier to win the primary in the Senate for a MAGA guy, but you got to get the right guy. Dr. Oz is not it, that's for sure. But anyway, so A lot of don't get too worried about this because about the college and stuff because I think it's bad, but I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that colleges are indoctrination. They don't teach. It's just a money. It's a reverse Robin Hood. Steal from the poor to make the rich richer. That's all there is to it. And I'm actually excited about that because I see at the end of the day that more and more men are eschewing that whatever to go into other careers, and that's where you get families built. That's where you get women to support you, as opposed to no one wants a male feminist. No one does. You know what I'm saying? They want a real man, and the real man stuff's come back, which I like to see. You know what I'm saying? I teach my boys all the time. You be polite to ladies. You treat them with respect and dignity. At the end of the day, you're still in charge, man. You are in charge of your household. That doesn't mean you act like an asshole. I mean, hell, my wife still wears the pants on a lot of things, but we have a respect. At the end of the day, when she says, "I want to buy this," I said, "We no," and she'll say, "Okay." You know what I'm saying? But it's not like I say, "Charlotte." It's not like that at all. I do the dishes on occasion. I cook a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I work from home. But we have the mutual adoration and respect. At least a one-way adoration. At the end of the day, I'm still the man of the house, and my wife would not deny that. And that's what I tell my kids. Say, look, at the end of the day, it's your house, your household. You're responsible. You got to make sure that it's being protected, it's being provided for. And that's your job as a man. And you don't freaking just you don't give away the store to some floozy. You don't give away the store to drinking with the boys when you have wife and kids. You can't do that. Get all that underneath. Don't give away the store to some floozy anyway. But you certainly don't do that after you're married with kids. That's your priority. Once you have children, you no longer have the time that you used to have for yourself, and you're gonna have to deal with that. It's tough as a young man with children. You recognize, man, I used to be able to do what I want. No, those days are gone now. Now your responsibility is to your wife and to your children. You have to sacrifice for them. That's what a real man does. A real man says, I got to put my kids before my own desires. I wanted to go to drink beers at the freaking baseball game with my boys. If my wife needs me at home, or if my kids are, need homework, whatever it is, I got to be there for them. All right, Stoner Pablo, look at him. He is totally Pablo smoking the doobies. All right. Yeah, that's the problem. Trump likes I completely agree. Trump likes celebrity. Yeah, that's a problem. I completely agree, and that's his downfall. Frankly, is he wants so badly to be liked. I think that's a problem. All right, my friends, I can get out of here. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Jeremy. Yes, I sent that 199 directly to Liz Cheney, 100%. I appreciate the $2, Jeremy. That's good stuff. Jeremy, you're young. Don't send me money, dude. Jeez Louise. Just freaking, I appreciate it, but keep it for yourself, brother. All right, I can get out of here, my friends. All right, God bless. Hang in there. Don't get mad. And just remember, be on the preparation for a false flag. And then looks like it's starting to rain here again. All right. See you guys. God bless. Yeah, Kathleen should said be 199 too. Exactly. Oh, that's funny.